So today we are going to check out the Fentex P400A, which is a new meshified version of the P400 which we have had for some time. Now this is not a very early review of this case and we have seen it receive very high praise from the community, but we have some extra stuff with us to make it more interesting. Hey guys, I am Siddharth and this is Fentex P400A review. So the case kind of has a minimal design with its exterior, but it has some elements that make it stand out. The design is pretty much identical to the earlier P400 models, excluding the fact that this time you have a mesh on the front instead of a sealed off panel with top and bottom intake. If you compare the front panels of the older and newer models, you will obviously notice the mesh on the front panel, but the top and bottom intake on the new panel have also been sealed, so all of the intake is going to be from the mesh. The version we have comes with 3 addressable RGB fans in the front but doesn't come with an exhaust fan. But you can of course take one of the fans from the front and install it at rear. The PCIe slots also don't have dividers between them, so you can easily install a vertical GPU mount in it. The panels are built quite well, as is the case with Fentex other cases, and the internal paneling has some flex, but that's because that is also meshified and allows for better airflow to all components in the case. It's the same case with the front panel where it will flex slightly in the center if you push it, but this is again expected due to the mesh design and it is actually quite strong overall apart from the slight flex. You get a dust filter for the PSU and on top you also get another filter for the top exhaust which can support up to two 140mm fans or a 280mm radiator. The top seems pretty simple with just the power button and two USB 3.0 ports with the microphone and headphone jack. But there is more to it as you have more buttons for reset and controlling the RGB on the fans cleverly hidden under the top panel. The power button also has addressable RGB around it, which looks pretty sweet. The case comes with an RGB controller with this complicated set of wires which allow you to directly light up case lighting LED strips or extra fans. And it also allows you to have the fans in the front be controlled by your motherboard's ARGB header with software like AuraSync or Mystic Light. Fentex also sells a version of this case without the ARGB fans, which is slightly cheaper, but I really don't think that you should go for that one and miss out on the awesomeness of these ARGB fans. At the back side of the case, you get support for mounting two SATA SSDs, which you can do by screwing them on these brackets and then just sliding them in. Then you can easily add two 3.5-inch HDDs in the included hard drive bay in the lower section without needing any tools, and while you can also add another 4 HDDs in the case, you'll have to purchase the hard disk brackets separately and install them. At backside, you get around an inch of space for cable management along with the included cable straps, so you won't have to spend much time in routing your cables properly so you can close the side panel. The case supports up to eATX motherboards and you also get support for up to a 280mm or 360mm radiator in the front, but you don't get easy access to the lower fan, so you'll have to slide the fan out and then slide the radiator down to install it. We are also going to add a metallic gear ARGB Skiron fan at the rear, which is pretty identical to the Fentex fans that come with the case, and we'll also add some Fentex neon LED strips, and this will elevate us from the peasant level of only using 3 ARGB fans in this case and will make it look even more awesome. The side is covered all the way down with this tempered glass sheet and it's easy to install or remove it by using 4 thumb screws. One addition we missed with this case was a 3-way splitter that would allow us to use 3 fans with just one fan header on the motherboard, so you'll have to buy this separately if you don't have a lot of easily accessible fan headers on your motherboard. After finishing the build in this case, I have to say that it looks really nice with the bright ARGB fans lighting up the front panel in this very interesting way. The light coming through the small holes in the front panel gives the fan somewhat of a pixelated look, which looks really cool. By the way, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos. I generally prefer going for the white colors when it comes to cases, but 2 reasons why I got the black version for P400A were that the white color has black colored inside which doesn't let the RGB lights reflect inside as much as a case with a white inside. And the other reason is that the RGB shining through the black front should also look cooler than how it will look with a white case, as the mesh will be more visible and will stand out in the white color. You can see the different RGB effects we have on these fans, and the performance is also really great because of the mesh. So all of that makes it a really well-rounded case, and the mesh also integrates very well into the design and doesn't look like an afterthought that they went with just because everyone else is also following this recent trend. If you want to see more performance data, you can watch Gamers Nexus review of this case, who have really put unimaginable level of effort into benchmarking the performance of the P400A, and they have also given it the Case of the Year award for 2019. And if Steve is saying that something is really good, then you should really believe that to be the absolute truth. But coming to my own thoughts on it, I also think that this is a very well-rounded case. I like cases with minimalist approach to design, which the P400 series had, and now you also get really great performance and aesthetics with it. The ability to add 4 hard drives is also really great for power users, and it's rather compact for a case that can support everything that it does. So while this case doesn't radically change the fundamentals of a case, it is just a simple design that has been executed very well. So if you are looking for a case that can fit well in a professional environment as a workstation PC, while also having the ability to show its gaming DNA with the press of a single button, the price tag of $90 or 8,000 rupees in India is pretty reasonable. And I'll have links in the video description if you want to buy it or check the current prices. So give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you disliked it. Let me know if this case deserves to be the case of the year in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel with bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.